Welcome to the Lou Blakely Show. You're in the right place if you're a service provider who is ready to transition into a more freedom-based business model with digital products. In this podcast, I share with you a unique combination of launch strategy, energetics, and mindset to create true, long-lasting success. It's time to ditch the burnout for good, create the business that you truly want, and share it with the world. Let's get started. Welcome to today's episode. This is episode 33 of the Lou Blakely Show. This is the final episode before Christmas. We're just a few days away at this point, so I'm keeping this episode super short, super simple. I know that we're all busy. We've all got a lot of stuff to do at the moment. So today I'm talking about the power of just doing the thing. If you listened to my episode last week, it was episode 31, where I interviewed my client Leanne Bassett about her experience with launching. She's done 4 launches now. She shared at the end of the episode that her biggest learning or her biggest piece of advice for people is just doing the thing, just getting out there, doing the thing, testing it, and starting the process. And I mean, I think that's so powerful because where she is now, she's 4 launches in. And if she'd never just done the thing and started with that first launch, regardless of whatever could happen, then you're never going to get to 4 launches in, and you're never going to get to 10 launches in. You're never going to get to that 50K launch or that 100K launch. So I think it's so important to realize this, that we've just got to start. Okay, there's so much to be said for taking the action, for doing the thing, even if it's really, really imperfect. It definitely does not need to be perfect at all. Another example of this is actually this very podcast. So if it wasn't for taking action, despite how imperfect it might be, I would not be here today, a few days before Christmas, recording my 33rd episode. Like, I had to start somewhere, right? And it was imperfect. All I paid for when it came to setting up this podcast, I paid $250 to get an editor to create my intro and outro. That is all I spent on this podcast. I did it so imperfectly. I didn't get branding done. I didn't get graphic design done. I didn't get anything done. I did it all myself in Canva. And I just started. Like, I literally just said, I'm not going to spend money on this. I'm just going to get it done and get started. And learn as I go, and I did. I didn't know how to do anything. Even though I've done a lot of marketing, obviously, that being my career, like, I didn't have any of the editing skills or any of that stuff. So I didn't have I had a microphone. I didn't know if it was going to be the right one. I just kind of had to roll with the one that I'd bought previously. I didn't have the perfect room. The sound quality at the start, I have to say, was pretty bad. Well, I think it wasn't great. So I just started anyway, and as I went, I've learnt so much, and now I'm 33 episodes in, which in the big scheme of things is not a huge number for a podcast, but imagine if I hadn't started in January of this year. I think I launched on February the 1st, but I recorded my first episodes. I think I recorded my first episode on New Year's Day, January the 1st. Of this year. Imagine if I hadn't done that, I would not be here right now at this point where I can actually reflect on my learnings and that kind of thing. Another thing with this podcast is that I couldn't actually think of a good name for it. I just brainstormed, and I couldn't come up with anything that I was actually happy with, that I was content with kind of like launching it based on that. So I just called it after myself, which is not very original, right? And although I didn't actually love calling it after myself, I still just started. If I hadn't done that, I wouldn't be here. Like, sometimes, and I think this is a big hang up with courses as well, is that sometimes we can become obsessed of what we're going to name it, how much we're going to price it, that kind of thing. We just need to start. Yeah, sure, try our best, but we actually get to change these things, and you never know. I could change the name of this podcast. It wouldn't actually matter. What matters is that it exists, and it only exists because I started. Another example of just starting was my very first online course. I launched that very imperfectly. Luckily, I had a coach who was pushing me along, which was huge for me. Like, I personally really needed that. The course itself, the launch, it was far from perfect, but you know what? It got done. And I wouldn't be here today helping other people do the same with their courses and their launches if I hadn't done that very imperfectly to start with. So yes, we need a strategy. We need to know what we want as well. But once we have got those things, it's just really about taking that fast action and doing the thing. And sometimes I see with, yes, you need a strategy 100%, especially when it comes to online courses and launching. But the implementation of that strategy does not need to be perfection. It's just about actually moving forward and making it all happen. So there is nothing more powerful than just doing the thing, doing what you say you're going to do, getting it done, regardless of how imperfect it is, because perfection doesn't even exist anyway. This is by far one of my biggest learnings in business and something I can't hear enough, so I like to hear this reminder too. So it's my message for you today. And maybe if you have been kind of holding on to that perfectionism, hoping everything will be perfect, waiting for everything to be perfect, let me tell you right now, you'll wait forever. It's never going to be perfect. So start now. Whatever your big dreams and goals and plans are for 2023, make sure that you realize it's not going to be perfect. Once you have that realization, you let go of that control. You can actually move forward. You can move forward faster. And really, the action is the only thing that's going to get you the result. And it's never going to be perfect. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to start. So with that, enjoy your Christmas, switch that phone off for the day, have some amazing downtime so that you can set yourself up for the best year ever next year. I'll be back with 2 episodes between Christmas and New Year, so they'll be dropping next Tuesday and Thursday. Keep your eyes peeled for those if you want some relaxing holiday listening. Also, I still have some private coaching spots for 2023 filling up now, so to find out more, head over to louiseblakely.com/coaching to find out more about it. I hope you have an amazing Christmas, and hopefully I'll catch you on those 2 episodes coming out next week. Bye for now. Thanks, course creators and go-getters. You're incredible, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit subscribe in your podcast app so you don't miss an episode. If you'd like to find out more about what I offer, head across to loublakely.com. See you next time.